Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews.
New Science is one of those games that just looking at it, looking at the IP and the theme and the mechanism, you would think that this would be right up my alley. And I think traditionally it would be. But why is this game a purge? Why does this game not work for me? But let's flip that and say what the game does well. It has a worker placement aspect to it, which is a huge win for me. I like that. That's one of my favorite mechanisms in a game. It also has a way for you to get better at doing things. I'm moving up a track, which will score you victory points, and you get better. And each player has a different historical person who is better at something or might give you an advantage. That's very great. I like all that variable power stuff. So far, I'm in. So far, this is right up my alley. I like the idea of science and generating these scientific knowledges and how you have to have that tech tree that kind of builds off of it. And just because I build it, it's not this unrealistic nature that nobody else has access to it. Yeah, when I discover something, I publish it, and now it's available to everyone. It's great. I score more points for that because I'm publishing it. You know, I get paid for that, right? But everybody else can use my knowledge and build off of that knowledge going on. Excellent. Thematically, that fits perfectly. The game is so boring to look at. Did you notice that? The game is just drab. And you're playing a bunch of old men, and it just looks boring. And guess what, guys? I got to stare at this game for an hour or two. And it's just almost like there's no color whatsoever to it. And it's ugly. The components are bland and boring, things that I've seen everywhere. This really detracts from the game for me. You're in a highly competitive market right now, and this is the game, the look of the game that you decide to present. I get it. I get it that the quill, the feathered pen, may be something you want to include in the game. It's just ugly. It doesn't look good, and nothing in this game looks good or has that burst of color that makes me want to come back to it, and I think it detracts from the game. I also feel like the more I play the game, the more I'm just doing the same things. I don't really see a whole lot of different strategies, because my strategy normally is going to be to try to do something somebody else isn't doing. I don't necessarily want to race to what they're doing. I can go up to tracks, I can try to publish, and that's about it. So those are my options of kind of what I'm doing. I think I'm looking for a little bit more. Now you can say, hey, this is a lighter game, a medium weight game. And I would tend to agree with you. In that respect, it didn't speak to me the way I thought it would be. I held on to this game for a long time. I kept trying it. I kept playing it. I kept trying to force it. It just didn't work for me, and it's going to be a purge. Here's a New Science. You can see it's got a pretty bland cover. I was not real crazy about the colors they chose to use in this game, but it looks kind of bland to me. The name itself, The New Science, isn't anything to write home about either. You're going to get a rule book, which we'll take a look at in a few minutes. You're going to get these boards, and this is kind of the neat part. You have different scientists, so Galileo, Einstein, Marie Curie, Nikola Tesla, Thomas Edison, Charles Darwin, Gottfried Leibniz, Kircher's in here. You got Kepler, and you got Isaac Newton. So you have quite a few people to choose from that you can be in the game. You're going to have a board, which we'll take a look in a minute. You can see there's really no, get a little die, there's no insert. You're going to have some cubes. These are big chunky cubes, I suppose. And the cards are fine. Nothing to write home about. They feel fine. They kind of that mass market kind of feel, but they're fine. The artwork, yeah. Do you like something like that? It's just icons from the game. You got some flavor text down here at the bottom, I suppose. It's okay. Nothing to write home about. They do their best with what they got, I suppose. So let's take a look at this board. You're going to open it up. And you're going to have a bunch of charts. So that's pretty much what the game is going to look like. So you're going to be looking at these muted colors the entire time, and you're going to have a few charts that you'll be going up. These will be the worker placement spots, but you'll have the charts that you'll be moving up through here, and etc. as you're going through. If that looks appealing to you, then you're going to like these components. If you're looking for something a little bit splashier, this might not fit the bill for you. So here are the people you get with it. You get Gottfried Leibniz. You get Kircher. You're going to get Kepler in the game, Isaac Newton, and Galileo. So those are going to be the 5 possible people you're going to have in the game. You'll notice each one they have a different thing here. So +2, +1, and 0, where he's 0, 3, 1. etc. So a little bit different about what you're getting here in the aspect. I'll explain that in the flow of the game, but that's pretty much the difference between the people, and you get a little background on them over there. So here's a new science rule book. You can see it's got a picture from the front of the box. You're going to have some of the components listed over here with some pictures, I suppose. This is kind of just weird how it's like off-centered, and then there's just like pictures going everywhere. So it's a little weird in that respect. A lot of text here. You have a little bit of icons here on the side. Turn sequence, what you'll be doing over here. I didn't find the rulebook to be all that difficult because it's a fairly easy game, but I'm not sure I like the breakdown of this. Here's the victory and the credits that you're going to have. On the back, there'll be a fact with some questions and answers that you might have while playing that didn't get to make it into the core of the rulebook. I found the rulebook to be pretty good. I'll give it probably 7 out of 10. Not too bad. You'll be able to read this probably in, 15, 20 minutes and be up and running. So here's the first component. You're going to have these cards. And at the bottom, they'll tell you like keep, effect, or player, what you're going to do. And then you just kind of read the center. When another player publishes a discovery, you are also eligible to publish. Take half the prestige they earned and then discard this. The player with the least prestige gain 1. Place your discovery markers on the research area. So you just kind of read it and you do what it says. This here in the center is a tree, if you were like a tech tree, if you will. In order to move up it, this has to be, what's underneath it has to be learned. So in this case, logarithms have to be learned before you go up to the tables here. So you can't just jump up here. This one would have to be done by somebody. So once one person kind of explores this and invents this, then you can go up. So in this case, laws of attraction, astrological science, etc. Now these over here are only used in a 4-player game, and then these over here would be used in a 5-player game, 4+ game. So kind of be aware of that. If you're playing a 2 or 3-player game, you're just playing with these up the center here. So everybody's going to have a player board. This will be your player color, some background about you, kind of like your intensive power. If you have a keep card, you can keep it up here. You can see a keep. And then it's kind of a breakdown of what everything else is here and the requirements so that you'll have. So you'll have this board with your color and your little bonuses that you'll be able to gain there as the game progresses. And then what you start with. So 2 religion influence. So that's kind of what he would start with. And then another character, might start with 1 government influence, and they have a different upkeep right through here. So a little bit of differentiation in the characters that you'll have, but this will be how it is utilized. So each turn you're going to have a number of energy that you'll put out on the board, and this will be kind of like your workers that you'll be placing, and they're just cubes. And you'll place them out on a side over here, and then you'll take the action of what you're trying to accomplish, etc. So I'm going to go through each of these actions and kind of show you what they do. So when you go here, it will dictate turn order next time, but also give you a rest. So you'll move up here on the rest track that you'll be able to boost as you move up. So you'll also be able to go earlier next round. Then you have these happenings over here. These will be cards that will be played out. And when you put a worker on here, you're just able to take the card. Now, if they're in effect, they'll be in effect for the entire game. But if they're keeps, you're able to take this to place energy on it, and then you'd be able to put that onto your player mat and be able to utilize it. +2 to your experiments in chemistry, +1 to your research and experiments in biology. These could be any number of things. Place your discovery markers on the research area of any 2 discoveries you're eligible for. Gain 2 rest, you get to play it immediately. So you just put a marker on it and you're able to utilize it. These spaces right here are influence on the different tracks. You will see over here that you're going to have tracks. I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you're able to maybe put 1 here in religion, then you'll just move up on the track over here as you're going up these tracks. I'll come back to what those do, but that's how you're going to influence those tracks over there. So these are going to be the discovery actions, or kind of the meat of the game, what you'll be doing, and we'll resolve these at the end from left to right. So this gives you like a research, a +1 bonus, an experiment, and a publish. Some of these will not give you any publish. Some -1 to penalty to research. You can see here. This gives you a dogmatic, a reroll, etc. So you'll be able to utilize these in order to go up on the tracks over here. Now, research is the first one. This will allow you to research something on one of these tracks. So this will give you a +1, but it lets you research 2 items over here, etc. So this will make your research go up. Now, you'll also get bonuses for this off your track, but you'll see here this requires 1 research, 1 research. This one requires 2, this one requires 3, etc. So you need to boost your numbers up in order to accomplish some of these requirements on these. The experiments published work the same way. You're going to see certain requirements that will be here. In addition, it will require you to be up on the tracks a certain amount. So if you look here for reflecting telescopes, you need a 3 publish, you need to be up on the science, and you need to have 7 or 2 publish and 7 experiment in order to move up on that. And then once you kind of take that response, you'll have that, and then everybody else can kind of go up on the track as seen fit. And then the pipes you see here will be the prestige that you will gain from being the one to research this correctly, and then you'll track that over here in this corner, which kind of works like prestige points or victory points, if you will. Now, the game's going to end when the last level 5 discovery has been published, and then you're going to get the victory points or the prestige points in this matter, and whoever has the most prestige points will be your winner. So let's dive in on these numbers and take a little bit closer look at them. So here it requires 2 research, and what you'll be doing is expending the research. Let's say all of this below it has been, the prerequisites have been made, you're just trying to do this one, you'd have 2 research. Now if you don't have enough research, you can always use rest. Rest is something you can use here in order to meet that requirement. If you don't have enough to meet the requirement, then you would definitely lose your action for the turn. Then you will attempt to experiment on it. If you don't have enough, you can always use rest. That's something that you can do. Then you will roll the die and add that amount to what you have in your attempt to meet the requirements here to experiment. And then publishing is going to be the way that you earn the victory points or the prestige points that are here. You do have to meet the requirement here, and then you have the publish points in order to do so. Keep in mind, you can't publish it until you have knowledge of it through the experiment and a discovery, so you want to make sure that you're able to do that in order to get the prestige points on it. Who should buy this game? I think if you like the theme. Now, colors and the way a game looks is very important to me. If you don't mind staring at this board and these components for 2 hours, I think it might go up for you a little bit. The theme is going to go really well. I don't find the game to be very intuitive either. I feel like it has some issues with that. So once you kind of know what's going on, I think that it all works together and works together quite brilliantly, to be honest. I just don't know that there's a differing of strategies in it that may appeal to you, that may not. You may want something you just play every 6 months and it's not that big of a deal. Then this will definitely appeal to you if the theme appeals to you and the colors appeal to you. Otherwise, it's a pretty solid Euro game. I feel like for a Euro game that it does exactly what you want to do, it feels a little bit older. It feels like it's aged a little bit with some of the newer things that we're getting out here, and that may not be as appealing to you. But for me, it's going to be a Purge. It's a fine game. I'd probably put it as a 6 on BGG. I feel like it works. It might be something I'd want to see a new edition of in the future, but for now, it's a Purge.